live from one floor below the Citco Plaza.
The Citco Plaza.
Legacy Center. It's Polk Nation. Jim Gazzolo, Heath, Schroyer. Another week, another name building, another name for the arena.
Yeah. It was great, wasn't it?
You're keeping the paint guys in town busy. I'll tell you that much with all this painting around here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Saturday was really. Obviously Joe Dumars's. Naming the court after Joe was in a different stratosphere. But I'll tell you, Saturday was so cool. We actually did an official ribbon cutting, as you mentioned, for the Citco Plaza, which is on the third level here. Citco has really stepped up and been a huge supporter of McNeese athletics, and being able to name that pavilion after them was something that I was really excited about. And then the great John Rudd. John Rudd was I said it on the floor, was the best big man ever play here. Got drafted by the Knicks, played in the NBA, still holds records in the Southland, still holds records. Yeah, I mean, and one of the best big guys to ever play in the Southland, and that's when, Karl Malone and all those guys were in the league. So to be able to officially, retire his jersey was something that I was really, really honored to do. And John's a great guy, and him, his wife, his kids, they all went to McNeese, graduated from McNeese. He bleeds blue and gold, and it was an honor for me to do that.
So it's not just about you getting on the court in front of
everybody. No. Stop. But it was a great deal. And Glenn Duhan, the former basketball coach then, and for him to be able to say a few words for John, and that's what John wanted as well. So it was a really, really neat event, and unfortunately we couldn't pull it off on the men's side. But as far as the Citco Plaza, and honoring and retiring John Rudd, it was an unbelievable day.
One of the things with Citco is, the interesting thing to me is 10 years ago when I got here, one of the many things I heard was you can never get the refineries and never get the industry behind McNeese because it's an international company and they don't care about the local and that. You've able to turn that around. Are you finding out that a lot of the beliefs of what McNeese couldn't do is now doable?
For sure, 100%. I mean, I
don't want to put you in a spot for that, but it seems like they never asked.
I just, and maybe I'm off base here, but I have irrational confidence about McNeese in athletics here. I think we can be as good as we want to be. Obviously, look, we're not going to become a Power 5 school and all those. I'm not saying that. But for us to sit, and that was my frustration when I got here as a coach, was I was told 100 times, we're just McNeese. Like, we're just McNeese. And it used to drive me nuts. And now,
I know that feeling.
Yeah, and now, ever since I took over as the AD, and even when I was a coach, I'm like, no, we're McNeese. We have to carry ourselves in a different way. We have to assume different things, and if you don't believe that, then you're not gonna. It's hard to coach here for me, and it's hard to work here because I believe that we can be great. And being able to go to Citco and look, I'd love to take the credit, but really this was a lot with Wade Roos behind it. I mean, he and I work so well together. It's developing relationships, and and you don't do that by just saying, oh no, we can't, and sitting behind a desk.
No, but it's the attitude is completely different. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I like the fact that you're honoring the old players, bringing back the history. This week we're gonna talk to Lynn Kennedy at the break here, and you're going to talk about the alumni for the women and bringing the women back into the fold. But what you're finding out is that more people are interested in McNeese than people thought, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we had a really good crowd, for Saturday. I mean, it's not near what I want it to be. But when you're coming in and looking on a men's team that's won 5 games, and we're not very good right now, but for people to still come out and support us, it just talks about the pride. And there's a lot of things to do on a Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. But for them to come out and continue to support us says a lot about our fan base. We lead the league in attendance by a lot.
And have since you entered the building.
Absolutely. And we'll get basketball fixed. But I am so excited about the future, and I'm excited about what Coach Kennedy's doing, bringing back the alumni for the women. And we have to embrace our past and our rich tradition. We can't be locked into it.
People don't think you have. The problem is people don't think you have a past if you don't embrace it.
Absolutely.
If you don't sell it, who else is going to sell it?
Nobody. Exactly. And that's what happened here for, we've talked about it before, for probably decades.
Decades.
I mean, and so we just, and we're playing catch up. I'm playing catch up every day, but we are making strides and we're getting there.
No, there was I talked about it with you many times. There was a malaise about McNeese. That it's just, that's how McNeese is. We're just McNeese.
Right.
We don't have there has to be the feeling that we're better than. Otherwise, who else is going to believe you?
Exactly right. And, there's a lot of things internally and structurally and, that we still have to change. I think we have way too many clubs. I think that's, if that was the way then everyone in the country would do it that way. Those are things that are going to continue to evolve. Developing the McNeese Athletic Foundation, it was long overdue, but we're making strides in that area. So I'm excited about where we're headed, Jim, and we got a long way to go, but I'm excited about what we've been able to do.
When we come back on Poke Nation, Lynn Kennedy, women's basketball coach, will be with us. Talk about a big win and a big week against Nichols right after this on Poke Nation.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. Coach Kennedy, welcome back, my man.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Okay, big win last Saturday.
Yep.
Played Houston Christian. When you look at it, you sit there, and I know we've talked about it off camera, but there's a really good chance we could be 4-1, right?
Yeah.
But talk about where we're at as a team, and what do you see going into the stretch run here?
Well, I think, you could see the progression, especially after the ULM game here, the win here. You could see our team getting better. We had a couple close losses that we could have gone either way, and that's, you talked about we could be 4-1. But you continue to see the team get better, even in our loss, our 1-point loss last Thursday. Multiple chances to win the game, didn't get it, and then to come out and play our most complete game, I think, almost in 2 years against Houston Christian, a team that was picked second. And really the game wasn't close in the fourth. We were able to extend our lead, and they're a really good team. But I just felt like our defensive intensity was there. We did a better job of blocking out, and we cut back on turnovers, which are, two of the key things, the rebounding and the turnovers. But you could see our execution. We were able to make shots. But overall, just a really good win for us going into this week.
Your team has gone through a period of a lot of ups and downs within games.
Yeah.
This time when they cut it to 3 in the third quarter, you were able to step on their throat, kind of.
Yeah.
What was the difference mentally more than anything else in that situation?
I think it's been our non-conference, and I think it's been our, going into our conference season, just being able to get better each and every game. We've looked at the tape, we've analyzed it. I mean, there's 8 games this year that if we took a quarter out and we were just even in that quarter, we'd have won those games. Completely changes your season. We knew that, but we haven't been able to fix that, and I thought we did on Saturday. We were able to execute offensively, and then you could see our defensive intensity go up in Saturday's game, just to be able to take away the 3. They all can shoot it, but our intensity was there, and then our execution, especially in the last minute, I think we went on a 6-0 run to finish the third. That kind of extended our lead going into the fourth.
You went through a whole non-conference of injuries and illness.
Yeah.
So you lost like a month and a half of the season.
Yep.
Are you just now catching up, kind of, and getting your rotations down?
Yes, and Chris was able to come back full strength on Saturday, and that was a big part of. I felt like our energy was better with her on the court. She provides not only an attack offensively, but just her defensive presence. But yeah, we've gone through a lot this year, and it's something that has to make the team stronger. And you could see that on Saturday. It really did help us as far as making that a goal for us to extend our lead in the third quarter and into the fourth.
Does it matter because it's a one-bid league anyway, so it all comes down to the tournament?
You say that. You don't, losing to Lamar the first game, you're like, after the game, we're like, you can't win the tournament right now. But you have to be progressing. If you're not progressing through the conference season, something's wrong. And you can't just turn a switch and flip it over just in one game. It's got to be a progression. It's got to be a team thing. You can't go into March expecting us to play our best basketball without playing it before that. You've got to see that progression. We have throughout the non-conference season and into the conference season. We don't have the wins to show it, but now that we've got Saturday, hopefully that kind of extends over to Thursday night.
So Coach, what obviously you mentioned Chris, being back on the floor. We talked a little bit on Sunday, and just my perception of it is she just brings so many intangibles to the court, and what our fans in Poke Nation doesn't realize is she hasn't played.
Yeah, she hasn't played.
So, and she was your starting point guard last year. So you were shuffling, it's like in football trying to, shuffling quarterbacks every
Right.
game. It's really hard to get a rhythm.
Right.
What do you think she will bring? Number one, can she stay healthy the rest of the year?
Yeah.
But number two, what do you think she can bring as we make this run in the last half of the year?
I think it's about our team, and our complete team is. Fans know, they watch our team. Every player is so different than each
Right,
other. I mean,
right.
we've got a power post, we've got a tall post, we've got an athletic post. Chris is more of our athletic guard that can get to the basket and create opportunities for our shooters. We haven't had that all year.
Right.
Steph has been such a good transition for us as far as being tempo controlled, ball controlled, being able to pound it in. But we needed someone to break down the defenses, and we haven't had that. So that's what she brings offensively. And I think defensively, too, just being active. She may not have got those steals, but she got some offense. She got some defensive rebounds, and it allowed our outsides of our defense to get some steals. Like Nene got a couple steals. Divine was able to pressure, get some block shots. So I think she just helps us overall, being that presence.
Right. And I've always said, too, like the key to basketball, obviously, is who gets the most easy baskets, right?
Right.
And I thought your
Right.
team struggled
Right.
for most of the year of just getting a stop and not getting easy baskets and playing in an advantage.
Yep.
With her, she understands spacing, she understands all that, and I think she can really help you get a couple, and 2, 3, 4 easy baskets changes the whole game.
It does. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy looking back, because we talked about that earlier. Just one quarter every game, and we changes 8 games. I mean,
Sure.
it's bizarre to look at it. Even Saturday, we didn't come out great in that first quarter, but we fought our way through it, and then we won the last 3 quarters. It should have been a plus 20, 25 game, actually. So we're right there. I think she does help us as far as our shooting and our presence offensively, and then defensively to pick up the intensity.
When we come back on Poke Nation, we'll talk to Coach Kennedy about upcoming week against Nichols, back-to-backs, and the alumni weekend. After this on Poke Nation. We're back with Coach Kennedy on Poke Nation. And Coach, we're talking a little bit about this. Play Nichols back-to-back, away and then home on Saturday. Do you like that? I mean, you've played Northwest. You've essentially played only 3 or 4 teams.
That's true, yeah.
You play half your year against 2 teams.
Yeah, it's like going back to COVID year, or if we're like in the WNBA.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird schedule. I mean, actually, to play back-to-back like that, especially home and away. We did have that experience, though, in the Big Sky. We played back-to-back games at home and then away back-to-back. So as a staff, we do have some experience playing the back-to-back. But I don't know if we'd rather play at home or away. I'm not sure yet. I mean, well, I guess we'll see. We played Northwestern at home and then on the road, and we only had a game to separate those two as well. So it's kind of a unique experience throughout the conference season, and we kind of, the back end of it, you play, 4 or 5 different teams. So I think it's a weird schedule. I'm not sure. Hopefully they can change that in the future.
Is a lot of that, I guess this might be for you, but is a lot of that designed because Incarnate Word and Lamar came back so late?
They did. They came back so late, and it was the only way that the league could actually make it all work. So I mean, and as an old coach, I wouldn't like it, but it is what it is, and you got to play the games.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's going to be unique is we play Nichols on Thursday, so you're spending all week on preparation, and then flip around and play them again. You're going to look at the film, and the Saturday game, no matter what, is going to be a juggernaut because the adjustments are going to be made, and then it comes down, like we talked about before, in my opinion, is who gets a couple easy baskets, ball bounces your way, do you make free throws, do you make or miss the front end of one? It all comes down to the little things.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and for our team, we have to treat it as a different game, almost
Absolutely.
a different team. I mean, we really do. So we go into it Thursday, focus on Thursday, and then we'll make adjustments going to Saturday, and I'm confident in that.
The last 2 weeks, we've had a famous alumni come back, get their jersey retired, get a court named after them. This week, it's for the women. You're going to have alumni weekend. What does it mean to kind of embrace the past here for women's basketball?
We wanted to do something. It was so tight last year, we couldn't really put a day together, and so this year we were able to do that early on. And right now we have like 45, 50 alumni coming back, and we're going to do a little meet and greet before the game, talk to them, and just kind of welcome them back. And a lot of them haven't been back to the Legacy since it's been open, but just open our doors to them and let them to come back and acknowledge them at halftime, and just kind of mix that past and the future of Cowgirl basketball.
It's Saturday, before the Nichols game.
Yes, yeah, yep.
And for you, I wanted to ask you this because I asked Coach this last week. The NCAA has gone to talked about a bigger men's tournament.
Right.
Every time they do it with the men's, they have to do it with the women's. Do you want a bigger women's NCAA tournament?
For us here, I don't think it affects us. It's more about the at-larges. My goal is, as far as our team and where we want to go is to get to the NCAA tournament, win games. If they made the field larger, you probably advance to that first round, and the at-larges play in that early rounds. But for us, I don't think it changes much.
So you don't think mid-majors would get more of a look?
I don't think so. Yeah,
I think there'll be a few, but I think the majority of it is going to be the SEC, the Power Fives.
Yeah.
The teams that like the Texas A&M's last year, that went 500 in league or what have you, like they're on the bubble. They're going to put them in for, so. But I do think as a mid-major leagues, I think you're going to have opportunities to potentially on good years to get 2 teams in. But right now, where we're at as a league, we got to get a lot better in basketball on both sides.
You got to get the whole league better. Though,
Yeah, for us to even, start having those conversations, and we've said it on air, Jim, but it starts with McNeese. We are the flagship program of this league, and we're the most hated in the league. I understand
Without
that
question.
too. But for us,
I wonder why though.
But for
steal every
us,
tournament, you're gonna get that.
like Coach and I, we've had those conversations, and we've made a lot of progress his first year, and I still think that this year, we're going to have a really good year going into league now that we got every girl healthy and playing the right way. And at the end of the day, it comes down to 2 or 3 games in the tournament in this building.
Yeah, no, but that does add some pressure to you, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, well, that's how we do it. I love pressure. Yeah, that's how we do it.
When you look at this basketball team,
Yep.
It seemed like a lot of the pieces were out of place because people had to fill other roles.
Yeah.
Christina Gill, obviously, you talk about her kind of filling that. Is everybody starting to feel their role now a little bit? Do you think?
I think so, and you've seen that the last month. I think, especially after that ULM win, you can see our team kind of come together after that. We took the break, but even against Ole Miss, we had a 9-point lead against Ole Miss. We played Texas Tech. It was a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter. That's after playing Ohio State and Illinois, number 3 in the nation and number 20 in the nation right now. So even against those bigger teams, you could see us getting better and better throughout the year. But now, I think in this last week, we've really taken that next step. We didn't get 2 of the wins we should have. But I think going into last Saturday, we turned the corner. Now we got to keep that momentum going.
Does that, when you look at the league standings, obviously it kind of haunts you, the 2 losses. But
Yeah.
Does that kind of learn something as you move forward?
I think it does. I think the conference is wide open this year, and people are beating everybody right now. So I think it will all kind of, sort out at the end. But really, it's about if you can get to the top 2 or if you can get to the top 4. That's really the key in this tournament.
When we come back on Poke Nation with Coach's final thoughts, I want to thank Lynn Kennedy for joining us. And I think in your case, I think you want to play the first day because you want to get as many people in the building.
Absolutely, yeah, that's it.
That's the money man in him. We'll be right back after this on Poke Nation. We're back on Poke Nation. Lynn Kennedy hopefully turned the season around there.
Hope so. Yeah, hope so. It hasn't started off the way that we all expected it.
No, they had injuries and illness, and but they've lost some games they could have won.
For sure. And, I think especially at home, Commerce and then, on the road we lose, by a point to Northwestern State. But we're getting better. Having Chris on the floor, I think, will really help us.
Settles things down.
It settles things down. But like he mentioned, she's someone that can break the defense down off the dribble and make a play off the dribble. We've really, really missed that through the year. So hopefully we can, turn the corner here. I have a lot of faith in Coach. He's done it before. He's won everywhere he's been, and there's no doubt in my mind that he'll get this thing figured out.
All right, I wanted to ask you about the NCAA rulings last week. I don't know if you read all of them.
So, yeah.
Some of them seem to have some impact and could have some impact on McNeese, especially the transfer portal second time rule, which is you basically have to sit out a year if you transfer a second time in the portal.
Right.
Does that benefit McNeese, do you think? Because this is a place where now if somebody comes to you, they're not just using you as a stepping stone.
I think so. I think that helps us a lot. I think it's the right thing to do. I mean,
Well, they had to do something.
you have to do something because if not, people are just gonna. It's free agency all over. The other side too is that if you take a kid that's a transfer and he doesn't pan out, you're liable for his education, his or her education. So that, I mean, it makes coaches do a better job in due diligence of making sure you get the right transfer. I think with football, we got here late. Gary got here late, and we're just trying to put a team together.
Yeah.
And that's we had some of those
Issues,
issues for sure. But I do like it. I've never been a big proponent of kids being able to not have or honor their commitment, but it's a day and age that we live in, and but I'm glad to see that for sure.
Well, I'm still a proponent of, and I know a lot of people aren't, of if you're going to make it free agency, make it a contract.
I agree with
A
that too.
2-year, and
Yep.
the big school has to buy out the small school.
I agree with that too.
If LSU comes here for a basketball player, there's a buyout.
That's right.
And make
That's
it a
right.
2-year deal so the player or make it a 3-year deal if the kids want to sign up that way. If you're going to treat it like a free agency, then treat it like free agency.
I agree. I mean, look, it's different times, and now that players can have NIL
Yeah.
money and they're signing contracts, with collectives for NIL. If they transfer, I mean, there's a lot of collectives out there now that are putting that, hey, if you don't, let's say you sign an NIL
Yeah.
for a quarterback, well, you don't become the starting quarterback, then you don't get this.
Yeah.
Or if you leave, you have to pay the money back. Now, do they ever do that, or is there teeth to it? Is there?
Let's see if there's teeth to it because it's just starting out. But yeah,
Exactly right.
but that you have to protect. I mean, you cannot have it just be free money.
No.
Because
no.
now the pressure becomes on the coach to play the right kid. If that booster has X number of dollars invested in one player, he wants him on the field, whether he's good or not, to get his investment back.
That's right. And it's a very, and we've said this over a year ago, it's a very, very slippery slope. But it's a game that it's what it is. And I say it all the time. And it's going to continue to change. And we have to continue to adapt, or we're going to get left behind.
And NIL, I know you had there were some people here talking about NIL for the school, to get a school where there's kind of an agent for NIL. But the school has to watch out because they can't be seen as paying, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's I'm having conversations with a couple different people in regards to starting a collective. I mean, we're going to have to get in this game, and
Yeah.
are we going to get in the game at a level like at LSU? No, we're
it's-
not talking about that. But being able to pay a kid $1,000 a semester, things like that. I mean, those things make a difference at this level, and we're going to have to figure. We are. I will tell you, like we're in Poke Nation, we're in the process right now of developing the plans. Bridget, Martin, and I are working really hard on it to make sure that all of our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed. But it's the future, and as long as I'm the AD here, we're just not going to sit back and watch the world go by.
No, because if you do, that's what's happened here. And then
For
you
sure.
wake up one day and everybody's gone, and the train has left, as you say. as you
Exactly
guys
right.
say.
That's right.
All right, so we're coming up on a little bit over a month left on Gatsby.
Yes.
What is not get into the theatrics of what you do there, because
Okay.
I don't want to know what you do there. That scares me.
Okay.
But what does it mean to have that event as a fundraiser?
I think it's really, really special because it's different. It's not, a diamond dinner. It's not the basketball auction. It is completely different. It is a fun time. It's a gala, right? It's a black tie event. There's a very, very small auction, but that's not the point of it. It's to come, dress up, have a great time. The entertainment is off the charts, and it's the number one fundraiser for McNeese Athletics that we have. I mean, it's not even close. And I put a lot of money into it. We last year we did very well, but it is. I've always wanted to do something that's different and something that becomes, the best party in town, and that's what it is.
Heath Schroyer, party master, concert promoter, athletic director. We'll see you next week on Poke Nation.